Yesterday, my friend and I went out. Nobody approached us and nobody offered to buy us a drink. What was that about?
Sometimes I wonder if the dating life was this bad like 20 years ago because it's like, I don't know how to explain it, y'all. But I really don't understand how any of these men are gonna get married one day because it's like they always sexualize us or like don't want to take us serious at all. Like they just want to be friends with benefits until they're like 40. Like, and I go out, guys. I go out. I go to the gym. I do things outside. I go to school and I still don't see anybody or meet anybody. So I'm like confused. Like,
Stay-at-home sons. Uh-oh. I'm sure she has something enlightening to tell us.
Boys aren't just refusing to pay for dates. Did you know they're actively moving in with their mothers in 2025? Stay-at-home sons, or hub sons, as some are calling it. We knew the economy was hard. I just didn't know how hard it was hitting the male species. So yeah, ladies, you're not imagining it. It is more challenging to find a real man in the wild because I don't think a lot of them exist.
You know, I'm just trying to think of myself as a 20-year-old man, a man from maybe the age of 20 to about 26 right now. I'd be looking at the economy. I'd be looking at the rising price of groceries. I'd be looking at the skyrocketing price of insurance. I'd be looking at the fact that a new car now costs an average of $50,000. And then I look at my rent and say I'm paying $2,000 worth of rent when I have a mom and a dad, because she's trying to pose this as if these people don't have parents. It's not just them living with their mom, it's them living with their parents. And when the economy gets harder, cross-generational living becomes more and more popular, especially amongst the youth, which really makes sense if you think about it. The economy, I don't think it's just hard for young men. I think it's hard for everybody, and young men are adapting to it because either you adapt to it or you just let it drown you. I don't think the prices of things are going down no matter who the president is. And so, yeah, if I could pay my parents $500 to live with them because I don't have a family yet, I just do that and save the $1,500 extra bucks every month. Some of these young women got a little bit of vanity and they want to do whatever they want to do without having to answer to their parents. So they want to live alone. But for young men, if I got a mom and a dad that loves me and they have a decent enough house for me to live in comfortably, yeah, I'll just pay them like $600 a month and then pocket the rest.
But one thing about boys, they're the biggest users. See, if you're not imagining it, it is more challenging to find a real man in the wild because I don't think a lot of them exist. I'm sorry, I do empathize because the economy is so bad. But one thing about boys, they're the biggest users. They love to take advantage of a situation. So naturally, they've burnt all the bridges and went back to the first person they took advantage of, the mother. It's giving regression chic. It's giving I'll never change. It's almost like these guys know exactly what to do, and instead of trying to do that, they've just given up. And
it's crazy because I'm convinced these are the type of women that ruin the entire dating pool. I know that there are good guys out there, and I'm sure there are good women out there. But the problem is when guys get on these social media apps, the loudest ones in the room are the ones making these stupid videos. When I found this video and I seen a part of this video when I was scrolling, I went from good video to good video to good video, and then she pops up, and immediately I'm just thinking, oh, here we go again. So I think they ruin it because they fearmonger the girls that might be looking for a relationship, and so the girls are always on guard and they treat men horribly, and then it ruins it for the guys because this is the only female representation that the guys get to see. This is the friend that likes gossip. This is the one that wants to be the loudest in the room. Most normal women aren't making these types of videos on social media. It's a very specific type of woman.
Now move back in with their mom. Is giving a little bit of jealousy with the art of being taken care of. The way that the patriarchy is set up, there are providers and there are caretakers, and the providers are wanting the women to provide and also take care. So now that we stopped being these guys' moms, it seems like they feel the only option is to move back in with them instead of changing, and that is sad. It seems like men and their masculinity have officially left the building.
Listen, this whole male loneliness epidemic, whatever the hell these people are talking about online, is cap. It's absolutely cap, and it's absolutely fake. I'm starting to believe, I'm starting to think like, did this even ever exist?
No, it's not real, but it is kind of dark how it came along, though. It's a bunch of feminist propaganda where they gathered a bunch of statistics talking about young men being more likely to kill themselves, and they somehow chalk that up to a male loneliness epidemic, which is interesting because young women are actually more likely to attempt, but they never really mention that because their only purpose was to try to prove a point, and that is that young men are lonely. But the reason why you know it's just like feminist propaganda is because anytime they talk about it, it's usually just used as a tool to shame men. is usually used in the context of, look, men, if you would have listened to women and been more emotionally available, then women would actually want to be with you and then you wouldn't be so lonely. That's usually the context it's used. I hear more feminists talk about it than men, to be honest.
I just had the men folk aren't lonely enough experience in real life, and I need to share it because I'm alone and
I'm not the first to say this. I will not be the last to say it. Men are not lonely enough.
There is no male loneliness epidemic. It is a loser epidemic. Men would rather be alone than to evolve and change, than to recognize, wait, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe there's something I need to change. If you can't get a woman because none of them want to be with you, maybe try and figure out why. Instead of making women the problem, saying that their standards are too high, maybe try and figure out why they don't want to be with you. What is it about you that maybe needs to change in order for a woman to want you? And they'll say, oh, there's no more good women left. Women are not like what they used to be. Women used to spend their days in the kitchen. Women only cared about taking care of the house and the kids. Oh yeah, and also women used to take our beatings. Women used to stay quiet. Women didn't complain. Women didn't think they could get better. Women didn't have confidence and self-worth and weren't able to speak up for themselves. And that suited you. That's the kind of person you wanted. If you love your mom's generation so much, cool, maybe marry one of her single friends.
So it's just another shaming tactic to try to get men to behave how women want us to behave. And if we behave how they want us to behave, that will end the loneliness epidemic. So they don't really care about it, and their only solution is always to just listen to women and do what women tell you to do, and you'd be happy. And it's crazy because everything seems to be more geared toward that direction than ever, more equal than ever, more egalitarian than ever. And the closer we get to that, the more you see these numbers rise. So the solution wouldn't even make sense. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And I think people underestimate how much guys are okay with being alone. And by the way, I'm not necessarily saying that it's a good thing that men don't mind being alone, but I'm just saying that's just in the trends that we're seeing. Less guys are just pursuing women in general.
I mean, first of all, there's more of ya than us, right? There's way more women on this planet. And I live in the United States of America, and there's way more women in the United States of America than there are men. And while this might be, you know, a little bit of anecdotal evidence to prove my point, from my personal experience and some of the stories that I've heard from my guys, right, that, you know, are single, this is just simply not the case. And like me, like, I don't consider myself to be a 7, 8, 9, or 10, right? I'm a fairly average individual, right, on a scale in terms of being attractive. And in my humble opinion, instead of there being a male loneliness epidemic, I personally think that it's never ever been easy. It's never been this easier for a man to both save money and to be sexually active. And don't get me wrong, right? Having a girl is cool, right? You know what I'm saying? You have somebody you can come home to and, you know, have a conversation with. And you know what I'm saying? You can go on dates and stuff like that, do fun things. But like I said, it's never been easier for men to do these two things, which are save money and getting unlimited nyash at the same time. And here's where, in my humble opinion, the sexual revolution and, you know, I can do whatever I want whenever I want to do it, and I can have sex with whoever I want whenever I want to, and I can, you know, have sex with however many people I want to. This is where all this sexual revolution kind of bites women in the ass. Yeah. Because these modern women out here are giving it up without hesitation. Ones who are winning technically, right? They're the ones taking the dub because...
a small minority of guys.
Women were sold that this whole sexual liberation and this sexual empowerment, you know, all this liberation and being able to do whatever the hell they want, have sex with whoever the hell they want, it was sold as empowerment. But what it's actually doing is lowering their value. Because let's be honest, I mean, even women would agree with me. If you go out there just opening your legs for anybody, and the guy, eventually when you find the guy who you want, he's not going to want you back because you've done all that things,
It's crazy because you think women would agree with you when you say that because it's common sense. But if you ask them, especially on social media where they can kind of lie to make it seem like they don't understand these concepts, they'll tell you you're a misogynist for saying something like that nowadays. Pointing out objective truth is now misogynistic.
Things in your past. Like, it's absolutely insane. You don't even have to, you know, do a hezi or use a screen to get to the basket anymore. It's a straight line drive. You don't even have to do a step over or go around the keeper or bend it like Beckham from outside the box anymore. Nah, bro, it's a tap in. Dead ass. So It's crazy how this whole sexual liberation and everything and sexual revolution has shot women in the foot, because the guys are the ones who are actually getting the dub. And like I said, it's never ever been this easy to crease while saving money.
Yeah, there's really no such thing as a male loneliness epidemic. And if there is, I just don't see it. Let me know in the comments what y'all think, though. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L, and give me the HBO special. That's the Brother Out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.